Welcome to Mrs. E English Skills. I'm Mrs. E and today we're looking at Functional Skills English Level 1, Session 3, Fact, Opinion and Bias. What is a fact? A fact is something that can be verified and backed up with evidence. For example, the city of York is in the northeast of England. We can verify this by looking at a map, such as the one on this page. The reading paper requires you to identify the language of fact. But how can we identify factual information in text? Well, we can look for statistics or numerical information, which are usually factual, or we can look at the language choices. Facts usually use words such as, the experiment has demonstrated, according to the findings of the recent survey. The latest results confirm, scientists have discovered. Demonstrated, according to a survey, results, confirm, discovered. This is all language that suggests something has taken place, finished, and there is an end product or an end result. So we can verify the information by looking at that result. What is an opinion? An opinion is the complete opposite of a fact because it cannot be verified and is simply somebody's belief or view. Let's look at some examples. I think York is a beautiful city with lots to see and do. I wouldn't bother going to York if I were you. It's just full of boring old buildings. We can see here the views of two different people. We cannot verify that York is a beautiful city, although we might agree with it or disagree. And we cannot verify that there are boring old buildings. But again, we can agree or disagree. We can have a debate, and that proves it's not a fact because an argument can take place. There is no definite answer to the question, should you go to York? Is it a beautiful city? Is it boring? So how can we identify the language of opinion? Again, this is something we will need to do in the reading paper. Well, we need to look for key words used to express opinion. Some examples are, the councillor claims that, Dr. Charnock argues that, in Professor Rostrick's view, and experts suspect that. We can see here the words claims, argues, view and suspect are all words that suggest this is an opinion rather than a fact. If you're claiming something, you know it's not 100% true. If you're having an argument, then there's no definitive answer. View is just another way of saying opinion, and suspect is another way of saying guess. So again, there's no answer. What you can also see here is we've got people in positions of authority or respect. Counsellor, doctor, professor, and expert. So you may be persuaded into believing that what they're saying is true based on their profession. However, if you look for the key words and the key words are not factual, then you will know that this is the language of opinion, and it's something you should read with a questioning mind. Task 1. Fact or opinion. Read the wording of the statements below. Would you take them as fact or opinion? Jot these down as I'm reading them out. According to the latest survey, 18 to 25-year-olds are 40% more likely to purchase household items on credit. This product might cause bowel issues for some people in months or years to come. Professor Stevens argues that the after effects of the pandemic on the health and well-being of young people will only get worse. The research team has discovered a new method for analysing air quality in urban landscapes. And the latest poll shows a marked increase in consumer satisfaction. Pause this video to jot down your answers, fact or opinion, before I reveal the answers. Let's look at the answers. Number 1, we've got according, we've got a survey, and we've got a statistic, 40%. So this tells us it's a fact. If there is a survey, then there are results and we can verify the information. Number 2, might. It might cause bowel issues, it might not. There's no definite answer there, so we would take that as an opinion. Professor Stevens argues. Remember, no matter what the profession, if they're having an argument, that means there's no real answer or correct answer or true answer. So we must take that as an opinion. The research team has discovered. Well, if something's been discovered, we can find it and we can verify it. So that must be a fact. And the latest poll, a poll is another way of saying survey or questionnaire. So we can look up results and we can verify it. So we would take that as a fact. How did you do? Something to be aware of when looking for fact and opinion in text is that writers can mix fact and opinion. It's not always easy to tell whether something is based on verifiable information or someone's particular viewpoint. For example, education in the UK is compulsory for ages 4 to 16, so more funding should be provided by the government. Is this fact or is this opinion? Well, we've got two halves really to look at. Education in the UK is compulsory for ages 4 to 16, and more funding should be provided by the government. Well, education in the UK is compulsory for ages 4 to 16. We can look this up and we can verify it. So this is a fact. But if we're saying more funding should be provided, then that must be an opinion, because it's not saying more funding is being provided. So we cannot verify that. That's just somebody's opinion. But this is only one sentence. So we've got a mixture of fact and opinion within one sentence. The reason writers would do this is because if they use some factual information within a statement based on their opinion, then the reader is more likely to be persuaded into thinking that their viewpoint is right. This is something to look out for, to make sure you are not easily swayed into thinking something, believing it to be true, rather than understanding that is just an opinion. Let's look at a specific type of opinion. Let's look at bias and identifying bias in text. So what is bias? Well, bias is a tendency to favour one person, group, thing or point of view over another, and it's often in an unfair way. It can be a personal opinion or a more public opinion, such as a news story, that only presents facts that support one point of view. Essentially, it's a one-sided opinion, an opinion that would benefit the writer in some way. For example, if I owned a cake shop, I might say to my customers, these are the best cakes in the whole of England. Now, you can't take that opinion to be a fair opinion because I want you to buy my cakes and spend money in my shop. So I would say that because it benefits me. Therefore, you can say that that's a biased opinion. However, if you were to ask several people who've shopped in many a cake shop, who has the best cake shops in England, and they said Mrs. E, you could take that as a fair opinion rather than a biased one, because they're not going to benefit in any way from that opinion. Let's look at a larger example. I'm going to read you an advertisement, and as I'm reading it, I want you to think about what conclusions you draw about this car that's for sale. Are they positive or are they negative? Car for sale. Turn heads with this lovely little runner in extremely good condition. Current and only owner is a reverend who uses the car to go to and from church. This excellent car is a conversation starter with many comments on its excellent appearance and electric green paintwork. It has low mileage, full service history and 6 months MOT. Comes with Bluetooth connectivity, electric windows, rain sensing wipers and central locking. £3,000 or nearest offer. Call 01704 016 522. What does this description suggest? Pause this video to jot some ideas down before we discuss. If I was reading this for the first time, I would pick up words like lovely, lovely little runner. That sounds quite positive. Turn heads sounds like a bit of a showstopper. Extremely good condition. How about the fact that the owner is a reverend who goes to and from church? Would you assume the owner is honest and the journeys are short? Would you assume they'll have taken care of this car? It's an excellent car and a conversation starter. Well, that sounds positive. Many people comment on its excellent appearance. Sounds positive again. It sounds like it might look really appealing. Then we've got the factual information. Low mileage, good. Full service history, 6 months MOT, Bluetooth connectivity. So we've got a bit of a split here. We've got some factual information about the reverend being the only owner, but the top is mostly based on opinion. Down the bottom, we've got the factual information. Let's have a look at the car. Now, I hope that tickled you as much as it tickled me. What the owner has failed to mention in the advertisement is that it's an avocado on wheels. That might put off potential buyers. But they've not lied. That would turn heads. It might be a lovely little runner. It looks like it's in extremely good condition. It might have only had one owner. They may have taken it to church. It's probably in excellent condition, and people will definitely comment on this appearance. Can you see how it's one-sided in order to try and promote a sale? We can say that this is biased because the owner has chosen to neglect some information to give the reader the full picture, and that information they've neglected to put down could potentially be seen as negative if this is not a type of car that you want to be seen driving in. Personally, I think it's fabulous. Let's look at a sample exam text taken from the exam board Pearson Edexcel. Have a read of it. Can you spot any examples of bias? Remember, bias is an opinion that favours one side. As this is an advertisement, the opinions will be positive regarding the product to try and persuade you to buy it. So any opinions in there that are positive, we could say, and we would say, that they are biased. Pause the video here to have a go before I reveal the answers. Okay, let's look at the answers. Did you spot these? World's smartest smartphone, slim sleek space age handset, processed at the speed of light, superior sound quality, star-shattering sound, and once you've tried it, you won't give it back. These are all extremely positive opinions that are trying to sell you this phone. If you were to believe these opinions and buy the phone, then you are benefiting this company. So therefore, they are biased opinions. How did you do? Thank you for watching. If you've liked this video, be sure to subscribe, like and share. Check out my other videos to keep improving your English, and if you have any questions regarding the content of this video, just pop them in the comments below. I'm Mrs. E, and I'll see you soon.